Hey y'all, it's me Alex. Today I am going to be doing the makeup collection tag, which was a tag created by the amazing and wonderful Georgia Harris here on YouTube. If you haven't watched her channel, what are you doing? You should definitely go check her out. So this is just a tag about our makeup collections. I was going to attempt to clean mine before filming this video, but here we are. So let's see, there are 14 questions. So that I don't get a little too long and rambly, I'm just gonna get started. How long have you been collecting makeup? It started a little bit before I started my YouTube channel. I think I'll say that I started collecting makeup once I got really into going to Sephora and knowing about high-end makeup and things of that nature. So that was in about the summer after my freshman year of college, which was about 2014, and I started my YouTube channel a year later. So it was about a year before that when, and at that time, the thought was in my mind of potentially starting a YouTube channel one day, so I think the two kind of came about together. It's just that I started collecting makeup beforehand, and then I kind of got into the actual doing of the thing. What kind of collection do you have? Minimal, utilitarian, aesthetic, historical, etc. It's definitely not minimal. I don't know if it's really any of those things. I'm going to just say that my makeup collection is really fun, because even though I do have a larger makeup collection, not huge, not like Jaclyn Hill level of makeup collection, I do definitely have a pretty big collection. All of the stuff, I'm looking at it over there right now, and even though it's not super well organized or anything like that, it is of all things that I do genuinely enjoy and use. I have a lot of eyeshadow palettes, but I love them all. So I'm just gonna say it's a fun collection, it's a sparking joy collection. It's not a minimalist collection, but it's something that I think Marie Kondo would kind of be okay, maybe not in so many words, but everything that I do have makes me happy. If something doesn't make me happy, I get rid of it, you know? It's a fun collection. Are you a completionist? Yes and no. I think a lot of people who did this tag said that they definitely used to be. I'm completely the same way. I wanted to get all the chocolate bar palettes, all of the Naked palettes, everything Kat Von D ever made when I was into her. At the time, I was legitimately going to try and get all of her everlasting liquid lipstick shades. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing to want to complete a collection of something. I don't feel like that could be my reason for everything that I buy. The reason I wanted to complete the Kat Von D everlasting liquid lipstick collection wasn't because I just felt a need to have every shade, but because it was a formula that I genuinely really liked, and I thought that this color selection that they have were all colors that I would wear. So right now I actually feel that way about the Menagerie Cosmetics liquid lipsticks. Back when they were Makeup Monsters, I was going to actually try and complete my whole collection of those because I have a whole bunch from them. I love that formula, and even now I think the formula is still the same from when they were Makeup Monsters, and all of the colors are stuff that I would wear. So I feel in that way, I would love to have every single one of the Menagerie liquid lipsticks. I'm not gonna make it my goal to just spend all of my money on that, but you know, if they have a sale and I pick it up here and there, things like that, you know, I'm not gonna hold back. I will take advantage of that to get a couple extra because it's all stuff that I would wear, but I'm only a completionist when it comes to stuff that I would wear. If I just want to have it sitting there to say oh, I have all 3 of the chocolate bar palettes, I don't think that that's a good reason for me to be buying makeup. How do you store or organize your collection? I'm going to put my shame up on the internet because I'm working on being less of a cluttered person, and I figure if I can put my shame out there on the internet for all there to see, maybe that'll force me into being better and less cluttered about my life. So here is the picture of what my makeup collection looks like. It's on my desk, which is honestly the best and only way for me to store it in a way that won't require me to go through a whole bunch of drawers in order for me to use it. I do have a really large makeup train case that Case got me for Christmas a couple years ago, which has been really helpful because as a student, I do have to move a lot, when going home for breaks and stuff like that. And since I do have so much, the case is big enough that I can just throw everything that I own in there and take it with me, as opposed to like having to do it in a bunch of boxes and wondering how it's gonna work out. But I don't regularly keep it in there. It's one of those things where I like to have everything out, generally speaking, where I can see it. And if I have it out on my desk in, like, I use like letter organizers, one of those like clear shoe boxes from the Container Store, like those little buckets that you get from Target, like I have 2 skulls where I keep my liquid lipsticks. I have a clear skull and I have a purple tinted glass skull. And I keep nude lipsticks in the purple tinted one and all my colorful lipsticks in the clear one. That way I can see which colorful ones, whereas nude lipsticks, I'm a little bit more okay with like going through them. I also have a couple containers, like a couple of like lipstick holders that I use to store my bullet lipsticks and my Menagerie Sugar Pill liquid lipsticks, because I think that's about the right size for the longer liquid lipsticks. I use the skulls. So that's about what I use. What is your favorite thing about your collection? Probably my favorite thing is that for the most part, even though there's definitely still makeup that I want, I have enough that for any look that I just kind of come up with out of my own brain, I'm able to pick and choose enough shades from enough of my palettes and find a lipstick that goes with it. It might take a little work because obviously like I use a lot of different palettes in order to get half of the looks that I do. The look I did the other day that I posted on Instagram, that was like the yellow and orange look, you'd think that would have come out of one palette. It came out of like 4. But I like that I'm able to do that my collection is in such a way that it's all stuff that I really like. And when I have an idea, I'm generally able to do it, and I don't really have to go out and get a whole lot for me to be able to pull off the looks that I want to. That doesn't stop me from wanting more makeup, just because sometimes I see a unique color story or something like that, like where I have all of the shades in like a bunch of different palettes that I would like to have all in one palette, so that I don't have to take home 5 palettes if I was feeling inspired by a similar color story. But I like that I'm still kind of able to kind of pick and choose and pull stuff out. What is your least favorite thing about or something to improve your collection? I wish I was more of an organized person. I wish I was less cluttered. That is something that I'm actively working on. So that's not just something about my makeup collection. I don't like being a cluttered person. It doesn't do good things for my brain, but I'm working on coming out of that. I think the other thing I wish I had more of was more bullet lipsticks in colors that I like. So I own a lot of bullet lipsticks. I think I definitely need to get rid of some because they're so old, because I wore a lot of bullet lipsticks before I got into liquid lipsticks, and I still definitely love liquid lipsticks, but now I've come to appreciate the value of a good bullet lipstick. I only have like 1 or 2 nude shades, and I would love to have some more nudes in there. I think largely nudes, because I wouldn't want anything like super bright or bold, anything in a bullet lipstick, but I would like to have some nude options just so that I don't have to go through all of the work that liquid lipsticks sometimes are, you know, when I'm going for a natural look. Not that I'm ever like fully natural when it comes to my makeup, but you know what I mean. What is the biggest category of your collection? I'm going to say eyeshadow palettes is probably definitely the biggest category, with liquid lipsticks coming in as a close second, which makes sense because those are my 2 favorite things in makeup, is eyeshadow and lipstick, because those tend to be the most colorful and the easiest to kind of like get away with. Like doing something colorful, you know what I mean? Like it's a little bit harder to do. Like I want to figure out a way to do like a cool like bright blush and stuff, but I'm not as good at that, and it's a lot harder to find. Whereas like bright eyeshadow and like bright lipstick is stuff that like you do have to look for it a little bit, just because like you're not gonna see it in like Walgreens all the time. It's a lot easier to find, so it's a lot more easy for me to accumulate as well. What is the smallest category of your collection? That would be like foundation, concealer, face products, because I don't wear foundation. I just do concealer. Right now I have 1 concealer and 1 BB cream, because I occasionally, very, very, very occasionally will do BB cream, but not really even that. I have like 1 primer and like 1 setting powder. So like complexion products in general, I have very much just like all that as like a one thing. Complexion products aren't very fun for me. I think it's beautiful when people are really into like doing the whole, you know, big foundation powder routine. I think it's beautiful on other people, but it's just not fun for me, so I keep that as little as possible and expand on the things that I actually do find fun. Do you have a holy grail in your collection? For me, that's gonna be my Urban Decay Electric palette, largely because that is the only eyeshadow palette that I own a backup of as well, because I think it is, like, when it got discontinued, I still really love that palette. And whenever I need a bright eyeshadow, I just kind of go into that. And even if it's just for like a pop, like Chaos, I wish Chaos was formulated a little bit better, but it is one of my all-time favorite blues. So I'm really proud that I have that in my collection. Even though I don't use it as much and I don't use the backup as much, I'm still really glad that I got that. Because even when I was only just getting into makeup, that was always a palette that when I walked past it in Sephora, I was like, I'll come for you one day. And, you know, like my 17, 18-year-old self, I'm always lusted after it, always thought that it was really cool. So I wanted to get my hands on it, and I'm really glad that I did. Even if, you know, one day I think the palette sucks, it still holds enough sentimental value to me, and like the packaging is so pretty, and just everything about it really represents like a huge part of me and a huge part of my life. And I know that's weird to say about eyeshadow, because honestly, we should not put like that much value into stuff. It's not necessarily healthy, but hey, neither am I, so. Do you ever wish your collection was bigger or smaller, or is it complete? I'm not gonna say it's complete, but I don't necessarily wish it was bigger or smaller. Because like I said, I feel like for the most part, I can get just about any look that I want out of my collection. You know, if I see a certain color story, like I'll always be attracted to earth tone palettes, even though that I know like my Viseart Dark Mattes and my Anastasia Subculture have similar tones in them. If another earth tone palette along those same lines came out in a formula that I like, I'd probably still get it, just because those are eyeshadow colors that I really like. And so I don't think it's necessarily complete. I don't have the urge to buy as much makeup as I used to. Like, I'm on a low buy right now for the year, and right now I'm on a no buy for Lent. So I think that definitely helps, but I still definitely see things that kind of catch my eye. I don't want like a gigantic makeup collection. I don't want a minimalist makeup collection because I'm a type 7 and I get bored really easily. So I need something with like a lot of variety. How often do you declutter makeup in your collection? I try and do it about every year-ish or so. I decluttered last winter, and I think I might need to go in and do a little bit of a deeper declutter right now, just because in retrospect I'm like, oh, I missed this, I should have. There are certain things I'm like, I could actually probably stand to get rid of that and replace it with something in a formula that I actually like, even though I like that color. But also, generally speaking, I already have in my mind what I want to declutter when it comes to that kind of stuff. So if there is a product that I genuinely don't like, I try and keep it around for like as little time as possible. The only times when I don't do that is if something has like weird sentimental value, like how much I really wanted to love the Manic Panic and Hot Topic eyeshadow palette, because that was very much something that I wanted to love, because Manic Panic and Hot Topic were like my entire high school life. I kind of kept that around enough for it to be like a piece up there, but now I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get rid of this. So I do try and just like, if I don't like something, I try and pass it on, unless it holds sentimental value like that, where I have to go through the grieving process before you're giving it away, you know? Do you ever get envious seeing other people's makeup collections? Not really. Like, sometimes I'll see people with the same taste as me and they have like some eyeshadow palette or like lipsticks or something that I never really thought of trying, and then I see them do looks and I'm kind of like, oh, you know, maybe I could pick that up and like use it. I think I want it now. But I think that's different from being envious of other people's makeup collections, like 10 Commandments and all that. So I try not to get like envious of like stuff. Sometimes people will prompt me to buy things because we have similar taste and they have a thing in their collection that I wasn't too sure if I would get or not, but it's not like a huge thing because I am genuinely really happy with what I have. Who on YouTube has the best makeup collection video? I don't watch a lot of people's makeup collection videos, but I really enjoyed Desi Perkins's makeup collection video, just because I watched hers and got the inspiration for a lot of the organization that I have in mind. So Desi Perkins made me take a little trip to the Container Store because I love how laid out she has all of her stuff. Like, I don't want that amount of stuff that she has you know, that doesn't make sense for me. It might make sense for her, for someone who does makeup for like a living. And we have very, very different tastes, but I love how she has everything organized. Just like, she just has like this entire wall of the clear shoe containers from the Container Store that like literally everything is labeled. And I think that's really cool. So I really, really like that video. What's some advice you'd give to a future makeup collector? It's okay to declutter stuff, but it's also like, don't feel bad if sometimes you hold on to stuff that you don't care much for anymore because you have sentimental value. In a lot of ways, YouTube is moving in a more minimalist direction, at least coming from smaller YouTubers. I think that's really helpful in the way that we view stuff. You know, like, you don't have to keep around things that you don't like. I think that's really great and helpful and healthy, but sometimes I would get shame from like, oh, I want to keep this thing around even though I use it maybe once every couple months or something, just because I have some sort of memory or something attached to it. If it still brings you joy, you can keep it. Like, I'm gonna give the general advice of like, don't be a completionist. Don't buy stuff that you don't actually like be mindful of your money, watch reviews and stuff. Like, you don't have to pre-order every single thing unless you know it's like from a brand that you enjoy. You also don't have to be ashamed of like the amount of makeup you have, or of like not using something that you enjoy or something that has value to you. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so that is it for this tag. I'll link George's video down below. If you haven't done this tag, you most definitely should. I tag you. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe down below if you want to see more videos from me, and I'll see you on my next one. Hope you'll have a wonderful day. Bye.